Guests were seated for a high-level dinner when shots suddenly rang out right outside the White House gates. The United States Secret Service immediately locked down the perimeter. Heavily armed officers swarmed the nearby streets to secure the area. Inside the venue, security details grabbed Donald Trump, quickly escorting him off the stage and rushing him to a highly secure location. Chaos broke out across the rest of the room. High-profile attendees, including his wife Melania and J.D. Vance, were forced to dive under their tables to avoid any stray bullets coming through the venue. The danger extended well beyond the political sphere. The U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, was also at that dinner, placing critical military command targets right in the middle of an active crossfire. Authorities quickly closed in, apprehending the shooter and taking them into custody to end the immediate physical threat to the guests, but the tension in the room remained incredibly high. Trump is a highly polarizing figure who has already survived a near-fatal assassination attempt on the campaign trail, where a bullet clipped his ear. The immediate danger of the gunfire has passed tonight, but the geopolitical fallout is only just beginning, all because of a highly specific, apocalyptic contingency order Trump has hardwired into the U.S. government. Trump has laid down a standing directive to the U.S. military. If he is ever assassinated, the blame must automatically and immediately fall directly on Iran. He has been entirely explicit about the retaliation. He stated that if anything happens to him, he has given firm instructions to wipe the nation completely off the face of the earth, an outcome that heavily implies a nuclear strike. Until very recently, there was a diplomatic back channel meant to cool these exact tensions. Trump's representatives, including his son-in-law, were scheduled to travel to Islamabad, Pakistan, to hold talks with Iranian officials. But Trump abruptly canceled that trip. He claimed it was a waste of time, stating that Iranian leadership is so paralyzed by internal infighting and confusion that his team wouldn't even know who is actually in charge. The danger here isn't just the gunman, it's the absence of a way to stop the clock. By cutting that Pakistan back channel, there is no longer a direct line to verify a shooter's origins before the standing order to retaliate against Iran kicks in. This chart shows a steep downward trend in Trump's domestic approval rating, dipping into the mid-30s across major polls. An overlay reveals the primary driver behind that anger: soaring inflation. The cost of living is actively crushing the American consumer. The root cause driving this spike in prices is the escalating cost of global crude oil. When oil hovers around $100 a barrel for extended periods, the resulting inflation drains the U.S. economy from the inside out. To compensate for these compounding domestic failures, Trump is heavily incentivized to project an aggressive, uncompromising military posture abroad. It draws attention away from the struggling economy at home. When a leader is cornered by a failing economy and plummeting support, military strength often becomes their only remaining lever of influence. This convergence of political desperation and a hair-trigger strike order leaves zero margin for error in the Middle East. Looking at the timeline, a specific strategic theory begins to emerge. Those canceled talks in Pakistan may never have been intended to reach a resolution. In this context, the diplomatic outreach looks less like a path to peace and more like a tactical delay, a way to keep the opposition at the table while the real work happens elsewhere. Reports suggest while the public focused on negotiations, the U.S. military was quietly moving assets into position for a large-scale land invasion of Iran. Once the military signals they have the necessary boots on the ground and the logistical green light, the delay tactics will stop, and the focus will shift entirely toward a push for the capital. There is really only one viable off-ramp left to prevent this escalation. It requires mandatory, direct trilateral talks with the United States, Israel, and Iran all sitting at the same table. Without direct, face-to-face negotiations, the momentum of military positioning will become too great to reverse. The window for a non-military solution is closing. We are now looking at a deeply cornered leader, a severed diplomatic channel, and a military preparing for a massive ground offensive. The question is whether the shots fired outside the White House tonight just gave them the final reason to cross the point of no return.